And welcome to the 5-Star Dynasty Podcast, episode 108, Wings and Horns. I am Tomcat. This is Piff. How are you doing?
Guys? I'm doing all right. I'm good. I can't wait to get talking about these teams we're getting into. They're gonna, a lot of them have upswing potential.
Absolutely. I'm a little worried about a couple things. I don't know if you're as worried as I am about them, so we'll see about that. We just happen to call it Wings and Horns because of the teams we were talking about. Two had wing-based logos and mascots, and two had horns. So just it was very fitting. It's just one of those things where it came into place last second. It wasn't the initial plan, wasn't the theme of the show, but it happened.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get right into it then. I think, unless you have anything you want to get to before that.
No, let's go. Let's get into this.
Fly right in there to the Atlanta Falcons. Now, how do you think this is going to go with Kirk Cousins? Do you think he starts the year right away? Do you think modern medicine has just drastically changed so much that he's back?
Yeah. Well, he went out decently early,
but it's Achilles. Achilles is different though.
It's not anymore. Exactly. Cam Akers came back the same season.
Yeah. It's just not anymore. It's remember when ACL used to be a career death sentence?
It's not anymore.
One of those things, yeah.
Modern medicine is achieving amazing things, and as fantasy football fans, we thank you.
Absolutely, I think everybody has nothing but a bright future with all the just the horrible things we had to deal with in Atlanta. You're holding on to such talent, such fantasy gold, and you're not able to cash in on it. Not only not able to use them, but nobody wants to trade you anything useful for it. They want to give you 3rd and 4th round picks in scraps and be like, I'll give you these 2 guys that are wide receiver 3s and a 3rd round pick for your guy who could be a potential wide receiver 1. No.
Yeah. So. No, I mean, Kirk Cousins getting added to the puzzle is the final piece. So he's gonna. He has to unlock. That's what he's getting paid for, is to unlock these offensive weapons. So, and they also signed Darnell Mooney too. I mean, it's not like a major signing, but that's a decent piece to add to that offense.
And it's also good if you're a dynasty owner of Kirk Cousins. Because if you're a dynasty owner of Kirk Cousins, you thought that might have been in the end, or you thought like, he's definitely going to back to the Vikings. Like, yeah, it sucks that he's not going to be with Jefferson. We'll talk about that later. But it's one of those things where I want to really focus in on, like, everywhere that Kirk Cousins has gone, he's had useful fantasy options, and he's been useful. He's been underrated. He's been undervalued. If you're at a startup and you see Kirk Cousins, he's going to go so late this year. I mean, I'm not saying I want to necessarily gamble on him, but if he's there and it's late enough, I might have him as my QB3, in a super flex. QB2 and a one.
Oh no, definitely. QB. He's like the prime. He's like the best QB2.
Yes,
in super flex, I think.
Because his potential to be better, but he probably won't.
Unless you go crazy and you're in an auction or something and pay up and get like 2 top 5 guys, or you make a massive trade to get the 2 top 5 guys in super flex is good.
Or you're that guy. Yeah, you're that guy who grabbed like the 1 and 7 because you like grabbed, maybe quarterback slips at the middle of the first, and then you grabbed one, and then in the middle of the second you grabbed the QB7 or something. Like, yeah. But other than that, Kirk has high ceiling, but what I really like about him is I like what he represents for Drake London. I really do, because he's somebody that I grabbed and was very confident in. He just hasn't had a shake. I don't want him to be like Terry McLaurin, and I mean that with all respect if this ever got back to Terry McLaurin, because I fucking love Terry McLaurin so much. I really do. I love him so much. But he needs a quarterback. I don't want him to end up the way that, and hopefully Terry McLaurin gets a quarterback. But that's another day.
Well, yeah, never mind. I don't want to talk too much about Terry McLaurin, but I made a trade for Pittman just straight up before the season, before this last season.
Oh, before the last one?
Yeah, I got Pittman for McLaurin straight up.
Wow, I would have taken the Pittman side for sure. Hell yeah.
I mean, I just bought in last year heavy on like a lot of startups. I did too because he was cheap. People didn't have any faith in him.
Mm-hmm. Very true. I mean, he did very well. He did well with Gardner, and he did well with Anthony Richardson.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm happy about that. I mean, that'll be good for B.
Pitts. I'm so excited for Pitts.
I'm so excited for Pitts to finally be something, and he's still only like 23 years old. So like, it's not even like he wasted a ton of his career. It's
And
not
look
like
what he
was like
did.
20.
Look what he did with Hawkinson.
Yes,
Made Hawkinson elite.
I'm very excited. One thing also about Kirk is he's always been able, for the most part, he's been able to support two. He was able to do it in the Vikings when he did it with Hawk and Jefferson. So
this is arguably the most talent he's had on the team. Like,
because it's not just funneled to Jefferson.
Right. He's got a wide receiver that could be alpha. He's got a tight end that could be alpha.
Tight end potentially.
And their running back is insane. So
the running back's insane. The backup running back is really good. I know we don't want to talk about it. We don't want him to get carries, but let's be real. If Bijan went down, Tyler Algier could be a league winner. I'm not saying overdraft him. Don't draft him way too early because you're like, I need the handcuff. No. But if you already have Tyler Algier, don't you dare drop him and don't you dare trade him for like a 5th round pick because he is a valuable handcuff.
Yeah, no, I made a big trade, but I can't remember what it was. But I got him as like a throw in.
I love getting somebody I'm confident in as a stash, as a throw in. But for Atlanta, it's just a big step up. I feel like the coaching, I love how I've said this in a past pod. I love how honest the coach was, where he's like, if we had a different quarterback, I wouldn't be here. That's him saying, like, I went out and made sure we got a quarterback. I'm confident in this quarterback. We are definitely moving on, getting better, using this talent. I know how to use this talent. It reminds me of when it didn't 100% get fixed because Aiden O'Connell's not good, but it reminds me of the Raiders, how he came in and said, I know who to get it to. I know I need to get it to Devontae Adams. I know I need to get it to Josh Jacobs. It just, even though it didn't fully work out the way he wanted it to, I still want to hear a coach say that. I want a coach to acknowledge that. I want a coach to say, I need to use my weapons. Sorry, I went off on a little bit on a rant.
Yeah, no, but it's very exciting for them. They're probably going to win the South. It's going to be them and the Bucks.
I got a little debate.
Bucks are
on
running
a Facebook
it back.
thing. Or I mean, not Facebook. I don't know why I said Facebook. Instagram. Same company, but Instagram. I got into a thing in a comment section because a bunch of Bucks fans were like talking crap about Kirk going there. And I'm like, you guys don't realize how close you were to losing the division title with the roster that they had last year. Like with Desmond Ridder, there was times where they have multiple games they could have won. And
yeah, the Ridder Heineke duo.
Yes. Man, not good.
Like it,
not
though.
good to have
They
that
did a
much
lot
talent.
of good, so much talent, and we're
finally,
hopefully it gets unlocked.
Yeah, I don't like seeing that much talent being wasted. Then you look at other teams where like they're more fantasy relevant, and it's a guy who's you see somebody, and then they should be being used, and they're not being used the right way. And then you realize
you'll do fucking nothing.
And then that's disappointing. And then you see some guy who's doing way better than he should. And it's
Who the fuck is that guy?
and I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. So that was my little taste into doing some soundboard.
That's cool. I like it.
I'm excited about Atlanta. I'm not sure on real football how they're gonna do, but I know in fantasy football, it's sky's the limit as long as Kirk comes in healthy. If Kirk doesn't come in healthy and can't play right away, that'd be one thing. But as far as I'm told, right now he's doing fairly well, and he has months and months till he has to actually play football.
Yeah. So I mean, I think he's going to come in healthy, and they're going to win some games this year, unlike last year.
I think so too. But other than that,
maybe even playoffs.
I don't know if they've made any other moves other than that. Well, the one guy didn't pick in that league yet.
Well, I mean, they really didn't need to,
I was hoping they were because I'm by the turn, so there's a really good chance if I didn't get one, I would even get 2 picks on the air. But hey, it is what it is. I'm trying to find if there's any other news about the Falcons before we go. Don't believe. Some J.K. Dobbins highlights just popped out. No, I think that about concludes what we can say
Yeah,
about
I mean, those were the major ones anyway.
the Falcons. Yeah, I just wanted to see if they grabbed anybody, or if they were talking. Oh, it was a defensive lineman. I had seen that they signed somebody, but they re-signed a defensive lineman. I thought it was a lineman. My apologies. Let's move on to, in connection with Kirk Cousins, we're going to segue over to his former team, the Vikings, and that will be the one of the horns that we'll talk about, the Vikings.
Yeah.
Now we'll start off right off the bat. There's a chance that Sam Darnold is the starting quarterback. Now, I don't think it's going to be that. I think exactly what you think. But there's a world where they either draft like a project that isn't going to start week 1, and we have to deal with 3, 4, 5 weeks of Sam Darnold, or there's a world where Sam Darnold impresses them in practice enough where they think they got the one, and then he's not the one.
I don't know. They got to move up. They got that extra pick. They traded for that extra pick with Houston to get the trade up, get the ammo.
There's the rumors
to
they want the Giants pick, and they'll take one of the quarterbacks, just not one of the top quarterbacks, because they don't want to overpay.
I've been hearing a lot of smoke about maybe the Pats, but
yeah, we'll I can see that too. Either pick, like going for the Pats, and then if the Pats pick or don't want what they're offering, then they go for the Giants.
Yeah, or any other team that wants,
or any other team. There's a couple teams there that might trade back, and there's a couple teams that really am very confident they're going to pick where they're at because they want somebody. Like a Washington is either trading up or staying where they are. They're not,
Yeah, no. Washington might trade up. I talked about that last episode, but I like the. I think they're gonna go trade up and try and take maybe a JJ McCarthy.
That's what I was thinking, but he's also linked to the Giants. So if they don't trade up, there's a lot of people who think the Giants are going to throw a curveball on everybody, and they're going to take him.
Take him early.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Either way, it has affected Jefferson's draft stock a little bit. I mentioned in the last pod that we started a draft early league, and somebody took CeeDee Lamb 101, and I took Jamar Chase 102. And I told you my reasoning was I like Jamar or Jefferson. Normally I'm a Jefferson guy, but because I don't know who his quarterback is, it just made an easy Chase pick for me. And not only that, but there's also the world where T. Higgins has been saying he doesn't want to be franchise tagged and he wants to be traded. So if that's true, then Jamar Chase is with Tyler Boyd, and then Jamar Chase is going to eat.
No, he's not with Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd's not on the team anymore, is he?
Yeah. So it's like that Iasovis guy.
I totally forgot. Oh, so yeah, right now it's just Jamar Chase and a bunch of whatever.
So you made the right move.
Yeah. Yeah. But either way, my whole point is Jefferson fell to 103, which doesn't seem like that much of a fall of grace, but when you're the clear 101 for multiple years, it's definite fall from grace. Our first running back didn't go to 107.
I mean, having no quarterback is a big question mark,
It is, no matter how good you are. Because think about DeAndre Hopkins with Brock Osweiler.
I mean, well, DeAndre Hopkins was great with everybody.
No, not Brock Osweiler. He's the only one. Let me see what it was that year, because I'm pretty sure it was my first year of fantasy, and the guy who invited me to the league, one of my very best friends, the guy who got me into fantasy football, got me there. We go there. His first pick is DeAndre Hopkins, and DeAndre Hopkins ended up having his one bad season. I'm gonna look that up because that's gonna bother me if I don't find it. But the Vikings
They
have a
signed Aaron
chance.
Jones.
You never know if they could pick somebody good. You never know. Rookies come in sometimes, but I don't know.
Aaron Jones.
Oh, the Aaron Jones thing I really like, though. The Aaron Jones thing I do like.
I think that's a key for them too.
Yes. My first year in fantasy, I believe, was 2016. He was wide receiver 26 in PPR and 30 in half.
So it wasn't a great season, but it wasn't that bad.
But it was also his number one pick that he picked at like 103 or something like that. So it was like, you know what I mean? It's like you're really expecting it to be D-Hop, and then Brock Osweiler signed that giant deal, and then he ended up doing nothing. But hey, he's set for life now thanks to that.
Yeah.
For him. Yeah.
I think they made some defensive moves, but we're not going to go into that. But their team's going to be a little better if they get that final piece.
Yeah, it's okay to mention every once in a while. If it's a game-changing defensive piece, it's okay to mention every once in a while because it does affect the offense a little bit. But, oh, gotta stop saying
You ever figure that out yet? Oh yeah, you did. The wide receiver 30. Yeah.
Yep, 2016. That was my first year into fantasy. Yeah, so this season is season number 9. Right? No. Season number 8.
I've been playing for longer than that. It's playing since like 2009 or something.
Fantasy football players are all, of all different kinds. There's the kind like you who are a lifelong football fan, and there's people like me who like didn't like football at first, watched other sports, and then finally somebody just convinced me to try it, and I loved it. So you never know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
I really feel like they're gonna make a trade up to get a quarterback. They're not gonna just go without anything.
Victory lap.
Sam Darnold is not the guy.
Victory lap from last year and every other year. I've been saying for years I wasn't a Madison guy, and I wish you the best as a person, Alexander Madison. I'm glad you signed with the Raiders. I'm glad you got paid. But I've been saying for years that he wasn't an RB1. He wasn't a this and that. He had a couple big splash performances, and it really convinced people to try to convince you. Like, he was like my comparison, and I got flamed for this. I said he was Tevin Coleman. He was an RB2 on a team who came in and flashed at certain times, made everybody think when he's free and he goes wherever, he's going to be amazing. And then, he got the keys.
No rushing touchdowns.
He wasn't like, didn't leave like Tevin, but he got the keys to the castle and he didn't perform.
I don't think he got a rushing touchdown last year.
Did he get any?
I think he got like 2 receiving or something like that. But did not have any rushing touchdowns.
But to get that many opportunities and to be the guy and to be told all this other stuff, and then he dealt with injury, and it's just But I digress. We'll if you don't have anything else to say about that, we can head into the other wing.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure we'll talk about this team more than the others. We'll talk about the obvious other wing that we're talking about. The Philadelphia Eagles. Now, obviously, it was the Philadelphia Eagles because they made the bigger move than the other bird teams left. We talked last podcast about Derrick Henry, so there was no point to getting any. That he's the only move that the Ravens really made. So we will talk about the Eagles. Obviously, we've talked in the past about Saquon, but offense as a whole, now A.J. Brown is talking about not being traded. So how do you feel about that? Because I know we were talking about that before.
I think it's a I feel like he's still going to get traded because usually when you hear that you're not going to get traded, or you say you're not going to get traded, or you don't want to be traded, you end up getting traded.
You can get traded. It's possible, but if they do gel things over, I do think they're more effective with 2 wide receiver 1 caliber guys. I do think that Devonta Smith actually performs better. He has a little bit of the Juju syndrome, which is you're better as the wide receiver 2 of your team, and you could be a wide receiver 1 in fantasy because people are paying attention to. There was a good stretch of years where people liked taking Matt Ryan's wide receiver or wide receiver 2 or Phillip Rivers wide receiver 2 because they were guys who could support 2 wide receivers. And even if you didn't get a wide receiver 1, you got somebody late in the draft who you were like, oh, that guy's sneaky to put in your flex because he's getting a lot of. Remember those years with Mohamed Sanu where Julio Jones would eat, but then you'd have like really good production with Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah,
and every once in a while throw a touchdown.
The Pats traded for him or something. I signed him, and he fucking did shit.
Yeah, because it was a good example of he watched Sanu do well for so many years, and it's like, oh, I want a piece of that, and then he got him right at the end when he wasn't doing anything.
God.
But it happens. Look at us with Kenny Golladay. Not us. I don't know why I said us, but the New York Giants with Kenny Golladay. He tricked all of us in fantasy football. He was like he was like in the second or third round that year. Ugh.
Yeah, Golladay was another one. What a waste.
But back to the Eagles. I'm really curious what they're going to do with center. I didn't see them sign it. I was thinking they were going to sign or trade for somebody. They have to be drafting a center at this point. Is that who they're taking in the first round?
No. I think they're just going to roll with their second guy. They're bumping him up.
Hope the second guy learned enough behind Kelsey to step up.
I'm sure that what they're going to roll with it first. And they're not usually shy from making moves, so if it's a problem, they'll fix it.
And another thing is, they might be confident that they took Kelsey later. Sorry, something fell around the side of my room and I had to look. It was propped up against something, but then it fell. I'm surprised you guys didn't hear it. But it's just one of those things where they might feel confident that they took Kelsey late enough that they might even shoot. They might have who they have, and then they might shoot for like a third, fourth, or even fifth round pick center and just see what they can do, get a little bit of depth. And if he outperforms what they already have, then cool. And if not, they just want depth. But I do think it's going to affect them a little bit.
Saquon did well behind a shitty offensive line too. So,
and I think what Saquon was used to
totally shitty. It's just missing the leader on the line.
And not only that, but like last year, the Giants didn't have their best offensive lineman their left tackle, who is actually really good, was injured the entire year. So like that being said, imagine what they can like you said, they're missing the leader, but they still have other good pieces of that line. But hoping Saquon gets a lot more receptions, because what made him really truly great was his rookie year when he just ate and had so many receptions.
But I think that the Eagles might be back, you know?
What's that?
They might improve from what they did last year. It was very disappointing at the end of the season.
Oh, yes. I think they will. Like we said, we're curious about the whole center thing, but I do think overall, you said they think they trade him. I do think they keep him. We'll see about that. Water bet?
No.
Keep trying, dude. Keep trying.
You try, but I'm not jumping it on over nothing.
You're not
they didn't sign
confident
any
enough?
offensive linemen of note.
I just want the I want the record to show that I was confident in my pick and that Mr. Piff was not confident in his pick.
Yes, we need to both be confident in our disagreements before we accept a water bet.
Yeah, no, for sure. In all seriousness, though, I'm happy and nervous for Philly because, obviously I don't want Philly personally to do really well. not a fan of Philly or their sports fans, like the actual city of Philly. But I'm just kidding, Philly fans. I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking. You guys get a bad rap, but you're just passionate. Just don't throw batteries at Santa Claus, and we're cool.
Oh, that's rough.
But yeah, I'm just joshing. I'm just kidding with him. I'm just kidding.
But they did really well.
Seriousness, you guys are gonna do very well. Good, good moves. Obviously got Saquon. Very happy about that. I hope that you guys stop relying on the tush push, because as much as it's working, it's gonna break down your quarterback, and your quarterback is gonna last way longer if you don't have him doing stuff like that. So,
agreed.
Yeah.
Let me think of anything else I could speak about. Well, if AJ Brown does stay, he's still going to be an elite wide receiver, even with Jalen Hurts throwing the ball. Oh, Kenny Pickett. They traded for Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, they traded for Kenny Pickett. That puts their backup at like at least like 16th or 17th in the league, dude, for real. Other than that, no, if we really went through and rated everybody's backups, I think Kenny Pickett would actually rate a fair amount lower than you'd expect him to be rated.
Yeah, he probably needed more time. I mean, he was old coming out too, though, but just to get adjusted to the game.
I think
at the NFL level.
I think he's worse in the rankings than you think he is, and I think he's better in the rankings than I think he is. Like, if we really broke it down, I think it's somewhere in the middle. He's probably better than I'm actually speaking in hyperbole and giving him credit for. But it's just, I know the whole two gloves thing is dumb, and
but yeah, I think maybe Jalen Hurts could have like if the line is okay, and they can keep that continuity, he could be MVP type stuff.
The only thing it might stop is the tush push more. I don't know how we're going to see how much Kelsey actually mattered with that tush push. Agreed. Or like you said, you think that they're going to gravitate away from it anyways to preserve him. So like, let's just see if that happens. Because I would like to see Saquon get more like, oh yeah, we know we got an actual like big back now. Let's do this. Or I'd like to see like, oh, instead of tush push, let's do a quick little pass. Check down over to Saquon,
fake
watch
him
do what he can do.
Yeah. So Saquon's a big addition for them. It's a game. It's a big addition.
It's huge.
It was a big contract too.
Yeah,
$37 million, 3 years.
Yeah, it's been 3 years. I don't know how much longer they have AJ Brown, but they still have AJ Brown. Devonta Smith's gonna be looking to get paid soon, so who knows how long they can keep the band together. But for this year, 2 high-level wide receivers and 1 high-level running back, and a high-level tight end. As far as the fact that there aren't a lot of tight ends, so like even though he's more mid-high level, he is still one of the better ones. Like whether we like it or not.
Like a arguable top 10.
I was gonna say like 6 or 7. Yeah, I was gonna say he's like tight end like 5 or maybe like 5 or 6 with the potential to be one of the top 3.
Yeah, he had a bad year last year there, so
he had a bad year, and I think it also depends. Like, if at any point you have an extended missing AJ Brown or Devonta Smith, then all of a sudden you're talking about him getting way more volume.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see.
Oh, your boy.
My boy.
Yep.
Oh, we gotta
move on to the 105. The 105 in that too early draft. Right.
Oh goodness. All right. So we'll move on to the second pair of horns, and it's gonna be the Rams. I want to talk about the Rams, and I want to talk about the effect of losing Aaron Donald. That could mean that it keeps the offense on the field more, which is actually a good thing for fantasy. But then how much are they going to get tired because they're on the field more? What I really want to talk about is the fact that I drafted a startup today. We're in the middle of the third round. We mentioned it last episode a little bit. Puka Nacua went at 105, so the hype for Puka has gone to the point where he is getting drafted in the first round before Christian McCaffrey, before Bijan, before Garrett Wilson, before all these guys that are very highly rated. And now, if you're confident and you want to shoot your shot, you do it. You do it. Because Eckler came out of nowhere, was undrafted, and then if you had drafted him early, the next couple of years, he was actually worth it for a couple of years. So, listen, if you're confident, you're confident. Now, that being said, I think the 105 is very rich for my blood. In a redraft, it's risky. In a dynasty startup, it's crazy risky because you are assuming way too many things. You are assuming Matthew Stafford's going to be there for a really long time, or that they're going to be able to rebuild or do whatever, or you think he's going to. I don't know what you think, but either way, Cooper Kupp's going to be there the whole year. He's not going to say
he's going to be healthy.
Is that what you're going to say? I'm sorry to talk. You go.
Cooper Kupp is going to be healthier. So I mean, I could see Puka being like a turn pick.
He's still going to be good.
Not at the 105 though. It's just a little rich.
For me, he was more of like, I guess I never thought about it. I was thinking more like mid-second to the turn of the third for me personally, but that's why I would never own him because I know I would never be able to. I actually, you know what? I don't think I would ever own him in a startup because I don't think I would ever draft him in the first whatever round.
But imagine that going from even a fourth, fifth round fucking rookie pick to now you're the 105.
Do I think Puka is Philip Lindsay? No. But have I seen a few tales of people who came out of nowhere, were a flash for a year or two, people spent crazy high up in a dynasty league, and now you're stuck with that player forever while he's playing in the Canadian Football League or the XFL or the USFL. You know what I mean? USAFL, whatever.
It's the UFL now.
The UFL now.
They merged. The USFL and XFL.
Good to know. Good to know. Hey, get more teams, get more money, get it more in, and do another football league. I'm cool with that. Hey, hopefully they get fantasy for it. We can have more fantasy.
I think they're doing like a champion versus champion game to kick it off this year.
So they're based. Oh, I wonder if they're gonna do conferences.
Like USFL versus XFL champs.
Yeah, like if it was like AFC and NFC, it's USFL and XFL, and then those two conferences play against. It has to be one of each in the Super Bowl or the Uper Bowl. I don't know.
Commanders re-sign it. Jamison Crowder.
Hey, sign there, play for a year, and then retire there.
Chargers are getting that lineup.
They're getting that lineup. Mike Williams is. I know we brushed on. He's visiting Jets, Steelers, and Panthers.
Panthers, huh?
Yep. Oh, back to the Rams. So I agree. Cooper Kupp's going to be better. I do think Puka's still going to be good. I just don't think he's going to be like crazy transcendent. Oh my God, what's going on? Good, because even when Cooper Kupp came back, he wasn't 100% healthy. He was just trying to help out the team. They're trying to play the best they can, see what they can do.
Yep.
You know,
got him back to the playoff. Puka had a great season. I just don't know if it's
consistent. I'm not willing to pay a first or even a second or maybe even a third to find out if it may be the way it is. I've had maybe it's because of certain people messing it up, but I spent high on people like Kenny Galladay. I spent high on people like Juju and startups. I spent high. Like I'm in enough leagues where like I was able to recover and I was able to pick other people or like maybe got somebody late to make up for it. But man, I just been screwed over so many times believing in these guys who flashed out of nowhere, and then I spent a bunch on them in startups. So my only caution
is definitely a second round pick to me. He's not a first rounder.
To me in the startup, it's like, hey, if you're confident in the guy, you really believe in him, you really want to try him out, more power to you. I'm happy for you. Me personally, I'm going to be happy where I picked him up for free or late, but I'm not going to invest in him anymore. That's just me personally. I'm willing to be wrong because I'm not paying that high.
You don't want to pay that price. I don't believe it, and I wouldn't pay that price, first round price for him.
Now, that being said, in that league, I passed up on Jefferson because I grabbed Chase. Because Chase is somebody that I passed on his high price in some startups. Because it was a year that I really needed running backs. So whenever I had the ability to take a running back or Chase, I took the running back. Oh, and
I've really turned my strategy though to just not even caring about running backs, until it's like the last piece of the puzzle for me.
Me too, but there's certain people coming in where if it was something that happened in a league where I ended up with the 102, 101, 102, or 103, and there's a running back there and he's an actual like good, highly touted running back, then I have to take the running back. Like the year that Josh Jacobs came out and David Montgomery came out, I took those guys because I was like, these are running backs that could actually be relevant for years. That's different. Other than that, I agree with you because I've been Trey Sermon too many times. I've been Keyshawn Vaughn too many times. I've been, et cetera, et cetera. So I definitely agree. I'm trying my hardest to invest in wide receivers. I have a handful of 102s that I probably should have been the 101, but I didn't realize that the other person was kind of borderline cheating because our leagues don't allow tanking. And they were probably tanking, and I just was so checked out last season with personal stuff that I didn't notice that they kind of screwed me out of the 101. So our league is actually included. The 5-Star Dynasty podcast, I know for a fact the guy who's at 101 definitely purposely threw a couple weeks. I played my best lineup every week, and he only beat me by like one. But lost one more than me. So I should be the 101 in our league, which would be awesome because didn't you win?
I did.
So that would have been perfect. Whoever it is kind of cheated a little bit, to be honest. But we'll let it slide. But threw matches on purpose while I purposely played my best lineup and still should have gotten the 101. And that would have just been poetic justice if I got the 101 and you got the 112 for winning. But it didn't work out like that. I ended up with the 102. Maybe means I end up with neighbors.
Maybe next year you should make an announcement this year that next year you're using max points for.
No, let's do like normal. And then if you cheat and you have notice and you purposely tank, you're tanking for no reason because we're gonna bump you to the 106. You're gonna get the last non-playoff pick. That's plenty incentive on you don't want to purposely tank because if you were tanking for the 101 and then you get caught and now you have the 106, then what you just did all that for nothing. You're gonna be like, well, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Either way, I should have been the 101 in that one league.
But max points for a lot of leagues do that. I do that with my leagues now too. So that shittiest team does not get fucked,
Oh, you meant the other way. I thought you meant, dude, you understand what I mean? What I'm thinking now? I thought you meant whoever had the max points out of the non-playoff team should get the 101. I was like, what?
No. Whoever
I
has the
understand
least. Yeah.
I understand what you mean now. You mean go by max. That's totally cool. I thought you were saying like, after the playoffs, whoever has the max points, give them the 101. I was like, no, because there's teams that are really good that barely miss the playoffs by one. And those are usually the consolation bracket winners. But yeah. Absolutely. I just think to temper your expectations on the Rams, I think they're going to do pretty well as long as Stafford can stay healthy. If they have to go backup quarterback, it's good night, Irene.
Okay. Yeah, Kyron won. They didn't add anybody.
Yes.
Of note.
I don't see them drafting anybody when they have a free, cheap Kyron. That even if he signs a big deal, it's probably because he's such a low draft pick. There's a good chance that even if he signs a decent deal, it's not going to be crazy breaking the bank deal.
Who they had a tight end too?
didn't they grab your boy Colby Parkinson for like money they shouldn't have paid him or something?
Oh yeah, that's who they grabbed. Yep.
But when I looked that up, all the comments were about how much they respect his blocking.
Oh, well, it's important to some teams.
No, it's very important, but I'm just saying sometimes with tight end, we did kind of brush on this the episode we first mentioned it. Some teams you'll think you're following the money with a tight end because you think that they're like, look at Austin Hooper. You think you're following the money because they did something. Well, he didn't even do it in another team, Colby Parkinson, but you think you're following the money and that, oh, they're definitely going to use this guy. And then they don't actually use the guy you're expecting them to use because they were bringing him in to block.
And they retained Demarcus Robinson too.
Yeah, he did well enough to stay. Yeah. I still have 2-2.
John Johnson's a free agent. Royce Freeman's a free agent still. They haven't re-signed him. They probably won't re-sign him.
I could see them grabbing a mid to late running back to back up for Kyron maybe, but they're not going to grab a high value running back. They have other needs they have to address. There's no way that they're going to, if anything, they're going to grab a lineman.
Yeah, they brought back Kevin Dotson.
Yeah.
Who's, I want to say, a right tackle.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
So they bring some pieces back, and they made it to the playoffs, so they can probably improve on what they did.
They made it to the playoffs?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that? You sure about that?
They were in the running to make the playoffs for sure.
That's possible, but I don't know if they made the playoffs.
I think they did, dude. Yeah.
You sure about that?
I think they played the Bucks or something. Bucks beat them. Yeah, they played Detroit and lost to Detroit. Wild card.
Oh, they did, huh? Because I didn't even realize. Wow.
Yep. So
we'll see what happens.
They probably improve off of that, but Aaron Donald did is going to be a big loss.
I was about to say they did just lose a crazy game changing. Honestly, I think that's going to hurt them in real life football. But I might have teased it before. But I think it's going to help fantasy because sometimes you get a team where if the defense is bad, then that's more opportunity. The offense has to be out there because the defense can't hold them. Even if the defense is okay, there's different kinds of defense. Even when the Rams are doing bad, but they have Aaron Donald, they still are chunking down the field and eating clock. But if you get guys where they just can't stay on this 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, that's one thing. These guys aren't going to 3 and out, and these guys aren't going to chunk away. These guys are just going to be like points scored on them. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to be like, oh, they scored again. Oh, they scored again.
But I mean, if the Rams are high-powered offense kind of anyway, so theoretically, they can probably go punch to punch with whoever.
I agree, but like Matthew Stafford really does seem to be getting worse every year, more injury prone every year. So we'll see.
Yeah, more injury prone. If he can stay healthy and not get these like stupid freaking hand injuries and stuff, he'd be fine. But
that's what it is. He hits his hand off of like helmets and stuff all the time. I've never seen, not all the time. I'm saying that speaking of hyperbole.
But no, more
but
frequent
more than
most.
other. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see. That's all I had to say about the Rams. I'll move on to our final star. We got about 13 and a half minutes left.
Yeah, that should work out perfectly.
Started to be a debate. Now, it used to be a clear, everybody knew the wide receiver one is Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, we're starting to get some whispers that just because of the little bit of difference in their game, that the gap is getting closer and closer and closer. And Piff will have to take a little bit of a victory lap here because he's been more the Neighbors guy. Now, I'm jokingly said I don't like Neighbors, but that's not true at all. I love Neighbors. He's going to be grabbing him in any league. I'm 102. But let's talk about this because there's a chance that certain teams, if certain teams take wide receiver first, they might grab Neighbors before Harrison. Now, I'm under the impression still that personally that the Cardinals are going to take him at 104.
Yeah. I still think so too, but I mean, I always said it was going to be closer. And now even the other guy, I know we're supposed to just keep it to Neighbors and Harrison, but even Adunze is coming up.
Rome?
Yeah.
Yes, Rome's coming up.
Washington.
I've heard him talking.
It's getting more clustered than it was originally.
Yeah, I've heard whispers of Neighbors and Rome to the Giants. But we'll have to see about that. But either way, the gap is, especially with those two not participating. I feel like that left Rome and a couple other people, even the people that we're not mentioning, came a little bit closer than they were because they participated and showed what was up.
Yep.
But I get it. Every once in a while you get hurt at the combine. You get a guy who runs a 40 and then pulls his hamstring or something, and he has to enter. He gets drafted later than he was supposed to, and then he has to start training camp later because he's dealing with a hamstring injury off and on for months. So I get it. They are pointless drills, but it just sucks to not get to see him in action.
Yeah. I mean, because you're just going to go watch the tape, I guess. That's the only way you're going to get to see anything from these guys now. Actually have to go back and watch actual film and not see what they do on when they're not getting the ball, stuff like that. Because that all depends if they, if they're actually good at blocking and stuff, it's actually going to get them more playing time.
Yeah, that's true, because if both guys are very good at catching, but one guy you notice when he's not getting targeted that he's helping run block or he's helping another wide receiver caught it and he's blocking, he knows how to block and then let go without causing a flag. Yeah, no, I could totally see that. Another thing, though, that it reminds me of when we talked about this a little bit before the pod, and I had to stop myself because I was like, let me save this. I'm glad I remembered. Now, I don't want to say this is what's going to happen because I do think Neighbors is actually really good, and I think he's going to be good depending on his landing spot. But we did have a draft, and not that long ago, it feels like long ago, but it wasn't that long ago, where DK Metcalf was the second wide receiver off the board. And a lot of people hyped up N'Keal Harry. N'Keal Harry got drafted. N'Keal Harry did not perform well at all, and DK Metcalf crushed. So you got it. We always have to be mindful that sometimes a wide receiver will clearly be the number one. Everybody's talking about him. And you get another guy who just comes in the picture and takes over. You pick him, and then next thing you know, the guy you knew the whole time was the best guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's, like I said, Marvin Harrison's still going to be my number one. Just because he's already there and I'm not taking him down. Neighbors can be number two, but guess what? Probably can get drafted only 2 or 3 picks after Marvin Harrison in a real draft.
In the real draft, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And same thing with, you're probably going to get
4 or 5,
6 or 7 receivers in the first
6 or 7. I was going to say 4 or 5. Yeah, 6 or 7 is probably more accurate. Yeah.
It's going to be
a lot
crazy.
more elite talent.
Because everybody's coming because they're expensive once you have to pay them. So now all these positions that are expensive, those are the get high draft picks because
they're trying to
they
get
go
that
in the
5th year
first round
option.
because they're trying to keep that money down.
Yep, get that 5th year option rather than having to get the extra year.
Mm-hmm. I
On
mean, the
top of
number's
you
a
want
little
to
bigger, but
franchise.
it's still cheap. It's a little bigger,
No,
but it's still
exactly,
cheap.
exactly. But I would like to see Neighbors go to like the Giants or something. Let me see what the draft order is.
Bears, Washington, Patriots, Arizona, Chargers. I don't know who's 6. That's top 5.
Okay.
I think 6 is
Giants.
6 is Giants.
That's what I was saying. There's a chance, like you were saying a couple picks after, if 4 goes Marvin Harrison, there's a chance the Giants at 6. If they don't, assuming they don't trade their pick away, because I know the Vikings and possibly other teams will talk to them about that pick. Now, if they feel like they can make multiple firsts or like a first and a second or something like that, then maybe they might move back. But if they see Neighbors there, there's a good chance they take him there. Now, that being said, we already said there's a chance the Chargers are looking for a wide receiver. So there's a world where the Chargers take him, and then Giants have to decide if they want Rome.
Well, Chargers want to move back too. I've been hearing, so they're also trying to get more picks.
If that happens, we might see Minnesota move up to where the Chargers are for whatever quarterback is left that they want.
Yep. And who knows? I don't even know what the Patriots are going to do. I feel the more every day passes, I feel like they're going to trade back and not take a quarterback.
I think they're taking the quarterback. That's why they traded Mac Jones away. They're letting it be known we're taking a quarterback. What else would they do?
Trade back, gain a pick, and then take one of the second round quarterbacks.
Why? You're gonna gamble your.
That's how they.
This is what I'm thinking though.
We're talking about the Patriots. They are not very smart. We've seen that.
But this is not an established. Oh, I guess he doesn't really have a choice, does he? It's up to Kraft and everybody. But I was gonna say, like, this isn't really an established coach. Like, he's got to get it right. So if he takes a random lottery pick in the second round and it doesn't work out, then he might lose his job right away. So it's almost.
But it's not his call. So it's Elliott Wolf's call.
Yep, you're right. But I think personally, Bears go Caleb.
Yeah.
Washington takes a quarterback, but I'm not sure which one fits Washington's scheme because I don't know what their identity is with the new coach. But I do think that hopefully it helps
Terry Kingsbury.
McLaurin.
So I mean,
please help Terry McLaurin. He needs another contract. He needs a tail end of his career to at least give me something.
Yeah, but if Drake May is gaining some steam, but I don't know. I
hope New England
still
gets
think
Drake
they
May,
go
but I don't think
Daniels.
he's good.
I still think they go Daniels.
I don't mean that. I don't think he's good. I'm just messing around. and then
we get Drake May. My Patriots get Drake May.
I think Arizona takes Marvin Harrison. I think Chargers either take Neighbors or trade back to Minnesota, who takes a quarterback. Or if the Chargers won't trade, Minnesota might trade to the Giants, who I think if Minnesota is offering their 2 first-round picks for this 1 first round, there's a good chance they get it from somebody.
And they're going to go for McCarthy. I think they're meeting with him too.
And even if you want an earlier pick, 2 first-round picks is always going to be way better. Like, let's get real. And then Tennessee. They just signed Calvin Ridley and they have D-Hop still, so they're not grabbing. Hopefully, they grab a lineman for themselves. Or
they need offensive linemen in Tennessee, bad.
That's what I'm saying. They should grab a lineman at 7, and if they really want to run him back instead of Spears, I don't know. They just grabbed Pollard, and they have Pollard and Spears. Yeah, so grab a lineman for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, they're next, so that they would be Joe Alt then, right?
Yeah. I'm thinking Neighbors goes to either the Chargers, the Giants. I mean, Tennessee could surprise us. They have D-Hop, but he's only like another year.
I mean, I would be pumped if the Pats took Harrison at 3. I would.
That would be cool for you, but we have a little less than 3 minutes. So if you want to leave Fantasyland until then, where you think that they're going to take Harrison when they don't even have a quarterback,
they don't care.
There's no way.
Brissett, bro. Jacoby Brissett. Come on.
You're grabbing a quarterback.
He's an MVP.
You're grabbing a quarterback. No.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I think they trade back. I'm honest. Honestly,
we'll try to. We'll draft around the draft, but we'll try our hardest to draft while some of the picks are going if we can. Maybe we'll try to free up that.
I could see them getting 3 firsts for that pick.
You should schedule. I don't mind staying up late and then I can go to bed and wake up, whatever. Wake up early, but if you want to take the day after off or something, we should do something, or maybe it's like I don't know if it's a Thursday or Friday. Whenever the draft is, the first night we should stay up all and watch the whole first round and do like a draft spectacular.
Oh hell yeah, I'm down.
It only goes to like midnight, doesn't it?
Yeah, so whatever. I also live.
Okay,
and it's on a Thursday, I think, too. So
let's we'll definitely recap. Like the second round happens during the day. We can like recap that night if we want to or not. But like the first round, we know for a fact they do all of it in one night. So yeah. let's make a point of doing that.
They do that, and then it would. I think it's what the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and then 5th, 6th, and 7th.
And then the 20 was like the 28th is the day we draft or something like that. The last day after it or something.
Yeah, the day after the 7th round. So that I want to say it's that Monday or Sunday.
To close out our last star that we kind of trailed off on, I'm gonna say I'm still a Marvin Harrison guy, but I do like Neighbors a lot.
Yeah, me too. I'm in the same boat.
But we'll
and
move on
I
to
hope,
plugs.
I hope the Patriots take Marvin Harrison. Yes, we're doing leagues. Leagues are going on. Getting on and popping. Get ready. Be ready. Pay your dues.
Yeah, gonna start getting all that good stuff ready. Can't wait till everything starts going off with the draft. Drafting rookies. That's always a good feeling. That's its own feeling in itself. You got your own thing going and you're building up your team. Looking at the future and hoping you make the wrong picks.
Yeah, I've been diving in recently, so I'm trying to make offers. I made you an offer. I still haven't got a response yet.
You did. I looked at it a little bit. I wanted to let you know because I feel like I don't want. I got to see how my future looks. Because I don't want to give up too much of my future for too many older guys. But I do like all the guys you sent me, so we'll see.
You can get rid of that second. You can get rid of that second, and I'll still do it. Kelsey, Adams, Goddard, and Henry for 108, 208, and Jefferson. But that's where it gives me pause. I don't own Jefferson in a ton. So why I gotta look. I gotta go through. I gotta count how many I actually own him. Because I have a ton of them in redrafts because I grab them every year. But I don't know how much I actually own him in Dynasty. So let me check. Let me see where I grabbed it. But all right, guys. Beautiful. I'm signing off.
All right, guys. Well,
keep it Dynasty.
Threshold. Dynasty has taken hold. Rookie draft's coming up in a couple of weeks. We're going to keep researching. We're going to keep looking into what teams want. And just remember, that's Piff. I'm Tomcat. Keep playing Dynasty because it's the only thing that really matters. Redraft's fine. Cheers. Dynasty.